Welcome to another episode of Sustainable Living at Home with Janine Liza on the Art with Janine Liza YouTube channel. I started this video earlier in the spring and never got around to publishing it. I was basically showing that I was planning on minimizing the amount of materials purchased for the garden this spring, and I managed to keep it down to a few stakes, some weed fabric, and in the end I needed to get a tarp to go over my pond because we had some sweltering heat. I tried to find the most economical materials around as well, so these stakes were perfect for creating some trellises, and this was a small roll of weed fabric. I found these at the local hardware store, and this here is 6 pieces of hardwood that are long stakes, and this one here is the shorter stakes. And what I think I'm going to do, since there's 6 in each packet, is on 2 different beds, perhaps the cucumber bed and the cucuzza bed, I'm going to put 3 of these, so 1 in each corner for 3 corners, and then use these to join them together, and this will become the lattice. Oakley, come here baby. I'm going to try drilling a hole in the smaller ones to put some deck screws through, and then I will tie them with some string as well, just to secure them. Oakley, what are we barking at? Come here. Come on. What? Did you see a squirrel? Did you see a squirrel? Did you? Come here. It's okay, baby. It's okay. You're such a busy boy. Yeah, you're such a busy boy. Come on. Come here. Come here, Oaks. Good boy. Sorry, I didn't mention the weed fabric. So I've just purchased 1 smaller roll of weed fabric this year, and there is 50 feet here. And this is just to cover, I've got 5 beds out there that I want to cover in the ground, just to help me not to have to do too much weeding. It's a little bit of a luxury item, I suppose, but I just got that one. So that's it. I'm hoping to stick to this and any seeds I already have, and the small plants that are the starter vegetable plants that I have purchased already. This is one of the earlier videos from, I think it was May that I made this video. So I'm going to show you at the end of this video how the garden's doing now. Here are the vegetables I'm going to be planting in the garden today. These are the cold weather vegetables. I also have a few onions from a bag of onions that late in the fall, if I'm out of onions, I will purchase a bag, and they usually last all winter. When it comes to spring though, the moisture seems to get to them and then they just start sprouting. So the ones that have sprouted, I'm going to plant them in the garden. I also have here a few sweet potatoes from the kitchen that are, well, a little bit past their date. They don't have sprouts on them per se, but they are starting to wither a little bit, and I don't think they're going to be all right for cooking. But I have seen a sweet potato come back to life in the garden. So I'm going to pop these in the ground in a section of potato bed that I had saved for them, and we'll see how they do. I'm just going to put these sweet potatoes in the ground in the row here. Just pile that up there a minute. I might find some more potatoes as we go. I'll just pick this up so you can see it. And I'm going to just pop these in. I'm not even going to cut them up. There we go. Now those are in there. I'll bury them. See what we get. Although I have done this before, and I've had some beautiful sweet potatoes grow, even tiny little ones that taste so sweet. Oakley agrees. He's like, you better share those with me. He loves sweet potato. Oakley! Oakley, are you talking to the birds? Better go see what he's doing. This is all potato plant, and it is kind of collapsing at the front here, so I am going to tie some of this back anyway. So I have built the frames, the lattice for the Kakuza. I'll be adding some string to these as well that will hang down and hopefully give them something to start climbing. Okay, so this is kind of exciting. I actually got a lot more out of those sticks than I thought I would. So I decided to put some in the back of this bed as well. This bed is going to have some climbing plants in the back, and so right now I actually don't know what they're going to be. I mean, it is possible that the Kakuza might just spread all the way over. Okay, so now I'm going to put some weed fabric down on these beds. See if I can stretch that 50 feet to cover. I'm fighting against the breeze. There we go. No, okay, I'm getting the chairs out to hold it. Okay, I did battle with the breeze and I got the fabric down. So it's been tacked into place with some wood and a few stones from the garden. As it settles down, I will move the stones so that I can step between the plants that are there. The beds were a little bit wider than I had thought, so it's a good thing I only needed to cover 4 of them in the end. I had to use 2 layers on each one. Now I'm going to take the rest of the weed fabric and put it in these 2 far beds and get those covered. There's just enough fabric to do these 2 beds as well, and so that worked out beautifully. I think I'll take a little break and then I will get to planting. So here I have some broccoli, and this is going to go into the 4 holes I've made in the fabric. Here I staggered them a little bit so they can get some sun. So I've got one back here. There's a bit of grass growing there, but I think with the weed fabric it's going to prevent some of that from happening. Make that hole back there, and we'll get one of these out. These are all in individual sections, so I can just press the base, get that to come up. Yeah, I think these were just about done with that container. They're ready to expand. I'm going to pop that in the soil. Buying these small pre-planted plants in the spring, it's just a little bit of a treat. I do like to grow my own from seed, but it's really nice to have these little ones just to give you the feeling of you know, something's growing already in the garden and it feels good. So I just do that, get a few of them, and then I go ahead and plant my seeds everywhere else. There we go. So now this is a Swiss chard, vibrant coloured Swiss chard. So beautiful. I'm going to put some of that in here. I've only picked 2 spots for the coloured one and 2 spots for the just the plain green. If they get a bit overcrowded later on, I can move them out. Look at the beautiful colours on the roots there. So pretty. There's just nature's making its own art. Look at that. Oh. Okay, the beautiful roots, and just gently pulling them apart and hoping that not too much damage is done. And then some in this spot. That spreads them out a little bit so that they can grow. And of course, splitting it in half like that, you're not separating it too much, so it doesn't disturb the roots more than it has to. So here I have pak choy, just putting them in this nice corner of the bed. I'll just bring the soil up to meet it. There we go. There we go. There's your new home. Hope you do well. There we go. I feel like there's more soil to put back. I'll just put some on top of the weed fabric. That'll help hold it down. Okay, so there's 4 of those now planted. Okay, I've put a couple of onions in there, and I'm just going to put one more in. So when putting the onion in, I'm making sure that this little sprout is at the top, and I'm just gently bringing the soil around it to let that little piece stick out. And there are the 4 Brussels sprout plants. So here's the pak choy, Swiss chard, broccoli, and some 3 experimental cucumber plants. Thank you for joining me while I got the garden ready, and I hope that is encouraging others who are planting in their urban space and trying to maximize the use of their soil outside or even pots on a patio. There you go. Enjoy. Aww. In the next part of this video, you will see how the garden has developed through June and now in the beginning of July. This was the kale in the enclosure a couple of weeks ago, and you'll see it now in the next part of the video. I have made a few changes to the garden, spread out a few plants in different spots to see them do better, and added more seeds. So you'll see how the garden is doing now. Kale that went to seed. So it went to flower. The flowers are all gone now. And the seed pods, wow. Look at all these seed pods. This is amazing. So I did a little search on Google, and I was looking to find out about these seed pods. If they were, I was curious if they were edible, because to me this looks like a whole bunch of beans. And apparently they are. So you can cook them up and enjoy them, and they're even a little bit tastier than the leaves. I'm going to let a lot of these go to seed though, like actually dry out, so that I can enjoy having the seeds to plant them again. But I might take a few and fry them up and see what they taste like. They look like little beans. So there's been some changes in the garden. I have had to put some netting down to protect the plants because every time I get those little sprouts, they get eaten or like taken by something. It still could happen, but I'm seeing a lot more of them coming up now, and the netting seems to be protecting them. Okay, I just walked into a spider's web. That's okay. That's what happens when you don't come into the enclosure for a few days. Alright, so down here we have radishes. They're doing all right. And the beans, look at these guys. I actually don't know which are which anymore. I just know that they're all doing well and climbing. This one actually doesn't look like a climbing one. Here we go. This one's a bush bean. What's that on there, on the leaf? Oh, just a piece of wood. Okay, so that's a bush bean, because you can see there's no little arms reaching out to climb. There's another bush bean. This one is probably going to be the lima bean. Wow, it's climbing up the back. And then we have more bush beans in the front here. They're pretty little flowers. And this has got to be a lima bean climbing up the post. That's lovely. Let's see how the peas are doing. The peas are climbing up too here. They're getting a little taller. That's nice. This one looks like it might end up climbing the post as well. That's kind of cool. Okay, and the rest of them are growing in there and doing all right. They're all up back here. And then those little kale plants I put in, they've just grown so well. That's just beautiful. They're doing well. And here's the black kale back here, also doing well. Been eaten a little bit, but overall it's coming along nicely, especially for, well, early July. It was July 1st yesterday. Okay, so let's have a look around the rest of the garden before my battery goes. Here's the lettuce pot, and you can see that that's coming along nicely too. Beautiful colour, nice strong leaves, not been eaten by anything. That's lovely. Look at this is the cantaloupe, and it seems to want to do well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little cantaloupe sprouts are there. These two did not produce anything as of yet. That's the canola seed and the pomelo. Yeah, those were experiments anyways. Parsley, it's starting to come up here. Let's get some of this wood sorrel out of here. It doesn't really do much to bother the plant. Here's the rosemary. It's quite a bit larger, and so is the basil. I'll start taking some of that for cooking soon. And here, reaching out to me, let's give this one a hand here to go on the fence. There we go. So this is the scarlet runner bean plant. Beautiful flowers. Let me see if I can get focus in that. That's just beautiful. Lots of scarlet runner bean flowers here as the beans climb up, and they are reaching on top of the enclosure there. And look at the lavender, just beautiful. Put this over here from my rain barrel. I've got some mesh on it still, and this is where I had some cucuzza seeds growing, and they did successfully grow, and I transplanted them into the ground. So that worked out well. I'm going to put a few more seeds in there now so I can keep that going. We had some scorching heat here recently, so I needed to put this tarp up over to protect the fish and the pond from the scorching sun. This is one beautiful Brussels sprout plant. I mean, it's just doing so well. So the cucuzza plants that I did have in here, some of them just got taken. They were eaten every time they sprouted, and a lot of these were grown by the pond, and now I transplanted them into here, and I'm hopeful that they will grow well in here. But again, I have to put something over it. There's really hungry creatures out here this summer, and they seem to like my sprouts. So they've gotten away with a lot of it. They've had a lot of them. And I just thought I'll just protect a few so that I can at least have something growing out here that I'd like to try this year. This is the pak choi here, doing well. The sage, beautiful, large sage leaves. Right here, 2 of the broccolis are doing very well. And down here, thanks to a little bit of netting protecting my sprouts again, these bok choys have come in nicely. And over here is the cauliflower. Let's see how many plants have actually taken off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's pretty good. There's a little one here, 5, and I know there's one in the potato bed down here, 6. I'm going to take that one out of there and maybe put it in the other bed over there where it can get better sun. Where the Brussels sprout is doing so well. Perhaps this one and that one. I'll move over there. Wow, this is a celery. The celery's doing well. None of the seeds I planted for the celery came up, but these are the previous, like the little baby celery plants that I planted. These are the eggplants, and the size of the leaves, look at that, beautiful. This one's happy. The ones in the front seem to be quite happy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the ones on this side, perhaps they get more sun. And then there's smaller ones here, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, those are doing okay. They're just a little bit smaller. You can see the big difference in size. But yeah, it's just a matter of which one's getting more sun. Okay, over here, this is the cucumber patch that I've really been struggling with. And finally, I've got more than 2 leaves on a sprout before it gets taken. Every time I got 2 leaves, something ate them, so I had to put some netting down just to give them a fighting chance. Fortunately, there hasn't been any issue for animals or anything. I haven't seen anything get caught in there. I keep an eye on it every single day. I don't want anything to get hurt. But I really need to make sure that this isn't taken, otherwise I won't have any cucumber plants. There are the vegetable beds from this view and over there. Just a quick look at some of the food out front. This is the apple tree. These two seem to be doing nicely. And there, let's have a look over here. Oh, pretty flowers. I don't remember planting those, but I guess I did. There they are. Beautiful. Here are the black raspberries. They're doing really well here. I've tied them back to the house a little bit so that they are not sticking out, because their branches can be very prickly. This was filmed a couple of weeks ago, and since then I have harvested some of the black raspberries. Okay, so this is the harvest of the black raspberries for today. I decided to take some of the darker red ones as well, because they were coming into ripeness and they will taste just fine. Sounds like there's a little birdie who wants to have a say too. I think that birdie might have enjoyed the cherries off of the tree out front. It likes me now. I guess it's just nice to see it grow and get a little bit of something from it in order to make something in the kitchen and enjoy it, something healthy, fresh from the garden. Last week I harvested half the cherries off the cherry tree out front and made jam, and the birds got the rest of them. I made a video of making the jam and it's on this channel if you'd like to view it. From the cherry tree to the kitchen. Okay, and I've just come outside to take a look at the garden, see what's happening, feed the fish. Let's take a look around. The celery's doing beautifully. Let's take a look down in here a little bit and see how thick. Wow, that's lovely. Choy. Again, they take the worst of the bugs and distract them from the other plants a little bit. That's what I've noticed. Sage. Leaves are large and beautiful. We have some flowers here that are, let's have a look, are we producing seeds? I think so. Let's get a zoom in on that. See inside there, that little circle? Once the flower goes inside, let's just get a zoom in again. I'm not sure if you can see. Trying to get the right angle. There you go. See the little tiny pods in there? I think the seeds fall out once they open up like that, so I'm just going to grab one of these, and perhaps I should take these flowers now before all the seeds have fallen out. So that's a seed, and I think I will take the other flowers off and save these seeds. I hope you've enjoyed this mishmash of clips of the garden from the very beginning where I was planting to now things doing really well just a few weeks later. I hope this video is inspiring you in your own gardens, and that it's helpful to see how quickly things can come along and develop in the garden. We had a lot of rain this last week or so, so we actually were able to get 2 full rain barrels out of that, and I can use that to water the plants later today. See you next time. Thank you for visiting my channel and viewing this video. To find more videos like this one, please go to the Sustainable Living at Home with Janine Liza playlist on the Art with Janine Liza YouTube channel.